We asked PlanShop, an online shop that's supporting small manufacturers in disadvantaged regions, what needs to happen in the world to reduce these inequalities, and what is PlanShop themselves doing to support this? Let's have a look at their answer.
Hello to everyone, my name is Dorothy Ingwersen and I'm the CEO of PlanShop. I'm here to talk about global inequality and how to overcome it. What is inequality? Well, there is not just one form of inequality. Actually, there are a lot of different inequalities in the world. But in the end, inequality shows in the difference between being rich and being poor and everything that comes with it. Whether you are rich or poor is mostly a question of sheer luck. If you happen to be born in a poor country, well, let's say like Bangladesh, you are much less likely to get a good education, to get a good job, and to get a good health care, as for example, if you are born in Switzerland. Overcoming inequality means ending this lottery where only destiny decides what opportunity life can offer you. Well, if there was a way to distribute wealth more justly, every human being on this planet would have a good chance to live longer and live better. But how do we get there? In former times, like let's say 6 months ago, there was a notion that inequality would slowly but steadily fade out because of economic growth all over the world. Now we are right in the middle of the COVID-19 era, and that means we are also right in the middle of a global economic depression. If this logic were true, the only thing we could do now is sit and wait until the economy recovers. And that is not an option. Let's change perspective and find a better path to overcome inequality. I just said inequality shows in the difference between rich and poor. And that is true. But that doesn't mean poverty is the cause of inequality. Poverty is the most visible symptom of inequality, but the cause of poor life conditions is something completely different. The root of all evil is the inequality between women and men. If you want to overcome inequality on all levels, you have to overcome the inequality between women and men first. Here are figures to prove my point. The UN has globally measured the inequality between women and men by the so-called Gender Inequality Index. If the index is low, women have only little political power, they have much smaller salaries than men, and they have a lot of children. If the index is high, women have their equal share of political power, they earn the same salaries as men, and the birth rate is much lower. And here comes the amazing thing. The Gender Inequality Index is almost identical with indexes that measure wealth and the distribution of wealth, which means the more equality between women and men, the more prosperous is the society they live in. Now, one may think this happens because wealth creates equality. Because when a society gets richer, social developments like emancipation follow. Well, in fact, it is the other way around. Equality between men and women lays the groundwork for all it takes to create wealth, social security, equal education opportunities, and more. Equal gender societies have less corruption, less crime, more science, more freedom. And all this puts these societies on a curve up to prosperity and social peace. And these results make much common sense. If half of the population, the women, don't have their fair share in developing a society, no wonder the society lags behind in all aspects. Only equality can overcome this handicap. And here comes the really good news. You don't have to wait for the crisis to be over. You can fight for gender equality anywhere, anytime. And sometimes a crisis is even a good time to change things faster. And picture this. You don't have to share the same cake with more people. No, the cake gets so much bigger that more people get more of the cake. So this fight is not about sharing. This fight is about abundance, about freedom, about peace, about a life in plenty with a growing, balanced ecosystem. The half of the OECD economic growth in the past 50 years happened because girls and women had better access to education. Let me tell you what we do to promote gender equality. I'm the CEO of Plant Shop, an affiliate of one of the biggest children's charities in the world, and we sell fashion. Fashion is one of the biggest industries in the world. Fashion products are often produced in third world countries where working conditions are most of the time very bad. And of course, most of this work is done by women. Women who have almost no labor rights, no health insurance or any other kind of social security, and their work is paid very bad. Our products at Plant Shop are also manufactured in developing countries. But the big difference is the women who make our fashion work in companies and projects these women created themselves. They have much better salaries, social security, and we are working on eye level with them, giving them back their independence, dignity and freedom. We also share the same philosophy about fashion. It's not about as much quantity as possible, the cheaper the better. We all want sustainable fashion, which is made out of a fine material and crafted with great expertise and with exquisite designs. That's how we create products that are attractive everywhere and can be sold at competitive prices anywhere. Let me show you some of the projects we are working with. This is Alpa, a Peruvian cooperative. Alpaca wool is one of the most precious materials there is. The women and their families not only breed the animals in the highland of the Andes to get alpaca wool, they also make marvelous sweaters and blankets out of it. And they sell it directly to us. No middleman, no exploitation. Profits remain mostly with the women. Or take Donk. Donk is a project where not only women and their families get a good livelihood. It also helps tigers who roam in the national park where the Donk project is located. Part of the profits go directly to the rangers who protect the tigers. Or take Mahela. This organization was founded by women who had to suffer from abuse in Nepal. Now they are free from oppression, independent and can give support and shelter to other women in need. And this is how they finance their freedom, by creating wonderful fashion. Mahela also sells directly to organizations like us who believe in fair trade. I could go on like this forever. There are so many other great projects we work with, from Africa to South America to Asia. But as different as these projects are, they all have one thing in common. These fair trade projects help to overcome gender inequality by giving women the means to become more independent to choose their own future and the future for their daughters. In the end, these emancipated women become a force to advance the societies they live in. And by doing so, they prove the point that gender equality is the first step to bring whole societies out of misery. I invite all of you to take part in this fight for gender equality. It is a win-win fight that is good for everybody. Our profit from Plant Shop goes directly into girl projects from the NGO Plant International. Please visit Plant Shop at plantshop.org. Have a look at the great stuff that is produced by great women.